Hey, Slash, how you do, Buckaroos? How the heck are you? I decided I'd come on, do a quick Valentine's themed or inspired video with you. Wife and I don't typically celebrate Valentine's Day. It's a tough one for us because our son was initially diagnosed with cancer, leukemia, on February 14th of 2012, and then Valentine's Day on the 13th, we were back in the hospital again with him. We lost him a couple months later, so it's a tough period of time for us. But thought I'd come on and try to do some with you anyway. Made us some chocolate chip pancakes. I, I thought about going to the store, picking up some store that had some chocolate chip brioche, but in the end, I didn't feel like going to the store. So I made some chocolate chip pancakes. Last night I put some strawberries on the mashed potatoes. So we had sort of a romantic-ish breakfast, I guess. Romantic as we typically get, anyways. But I had this whiskey. I thought I'd better finish up. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try that again. There it is. All right. Had this whiskey. I thought I'd better finish up. So I got it back. Oh, I think at the beginning of November. And I went through an awful lot of it around the Thanksgiving break and then again around Christmas and through New Year's. And then I kind of put it off to the side for a while. And I had some last night, and I had just enough for a couple drinks, I guess. So thought I'd just better finish it up. I really love this whiskey too. It was bottle 162 of 231. It's a limited edition from Traverse City Whiskey Company out of Michigan, I do believe. It's a 6-year-old barrel proof whiskey at 112.8. It's a single barrel cherry whiskey, a straight bourbon whiskey infused with Montgomery cherries, and it is I was going to say best, but maybe most pure flavored whiskey I've ever had. It was just so incredibly good. There was nothing, usually you can taste some artificial flavors, and this one you can't. When I bought that, I also bought their cherries because these are just a little bit less. I actually prefer these to the Luxardo. I really do. They're just amazing. If you ever find these, they are the very best cocktail cherries. So anyway, I poured some neat and then I poured some not neat, and I'll explain that more later. But I thought I'd drink the neat with you first. I was going to do all of it neat, but there was more left than I thought. So there was enough to do. Well, again, I'll explain that later. Not quite a cocktail, or maybe depending on your definition of a cocktail, I guess. But I did want to have some of it neat to finish up. Typically, a whiskey like this, I would drink all neat, but this flavored whiskey lended itself so well to cocktails, especially during that period of time, right through the holidays. It made an absolutely beautiful Manhattan, but it also lended itself well to various versions of an old fashioned. Last night, I added a little creme de cacao to it to turn it into a cherry cordial. Just the aromas on this whiskey are just so insane. Again, what I love about it is the cherry flavor is just pure, right? It doesn't taste artificial at all. Those Montgomery cherries, oh my god! So oh my god, that's delicious. So what you have here is a beautiful cask bourbon, right? A lot of big barrel notes in the finish, but I'm going to start at the beginning. A lot of vanilla right away. You might feel some toffee, some almost like toasted almond like note in there, like maybe just a hint of amaretto, I guess. A lot of big spice in the finish, but then those cherry notes aren't as prevalent as you might think, and maybe that's why I've liked it as well as I did. A lot of whiskeys that add flavors, the flavors kind of take over the whiskey. This one doesn't. The flavors, the cherries or a supporting character. They lift up the whiskey. It doesn't take away from it. So again, happy Valentine's Day for those of you that celebrate it. My wife and I were kind of having a discussion earlier, and she was mentioning that you should do things nice for each other throughout the year, and not just wait for one particular day to say, okay, I'm an asshole most of the time, but this day I'm going to buy you roses and take you out to dinner. So that's why we're a lot of holidays we don't really celebrate in a traditional sense, because we try to support each other throughout the year. You get to a certain age and you really don't need presents, right? Like Christmas, for instance, because the stuff you need or have to have, you're kind of buying throughout the year. Uh, and you should appreciate your partner year round, and not just on one certain day. My wife's always been she's never been crazy about getting roses. I found that out early on. She'd rather have a live plant than a dead rose, and so I've tried to get more practical things. The vanilla from the barrel is so prevalent that it really lifts up those cherry notes. You get that nice cherry vanilla going on, even though it's not a vanilla flavored whiskey. That barrel provides so much vanilla like flavors that it really blends with that cherry. So you do get that notion of a cherry vanilla. That's why when I added that little bit of chocolate flavor last night, it just made the perfect cherry cordial. And again, I'll admit that typically whiskey like this, I drink primarily neat, but because of its nature, it just made cocktails so amazing. It made the absolute best Manhattan. Then I did various other inspired cocktails with it, just kind of changing up, like the creme de cacao for one. A lot of things going on in town here, so I'm sure there's a lot in your neck of the woods for Valentine's Day. Of the two of us, I'm probably the most romantic, but it's always frustrating on Valentine's Day. They want to make sure you get out on that day, but then all the prices go up, right? And some of the menus are very nice, but some seem rather expensive for what it is, right? Without mentioning a name, one place was doing a pizza buffet. Now, I will admit it's going to be upscale pizza, and there were other things involved. You got a salad, you got this, that, and the other. So it wasn't terrible, but it was still $32 a plate, which seems kind of expensive for a pizza buffet. And again, there were other things involved, but still. But there was a lot of that going around, right? And then if you wait till tomorrow, roses will be half price if you're into such things, and everybody's going to be back to their regular menu again. Instead of having that prefix menu where you have to order specific things, and the prices are jacked up. Wait till next weekend if you must. Save some money. Be practical. But folks want to be, you want to be out on that day, I guess, because it's that day where everybody's supposed to be romantic, even if they're only romantic once a year. They're going to do it on that day. But I will admit that most wives are into that sort of thing much more than mine is, and I've learned that over the years. Because early on I would try to make these grand elaborate plans, and she would say, "Yeah, but she'd much rather I save the money and go, go the next day or the next weekend or the weekend before, where you can have the same meal at half the price. And then over the years too, we don't enjoy eating out as much as we used to. So we've come to the conclusion that, yeah, I mean, we can go out for a nice steak dinner. It costs this, but I can buy a better steak at the butcher shop for half the price, cook it myself out of baked potato. It's a much better meal. Or in this case, I have some Dungeness crab that I can steam up, and it's going to cost me a lot less than if we were to go out and order Dungeness crab. And it's going to be done the way we like it, and then we can eat it at home comfortable. And when I say that, I wore my Valentine shirt, or one of them, today for you. But I'm wearing just a pair of sweats. And that's how I plan to stay all day. Unless I get hot, then I'm just going to take the sweats off. Then it's just going to be me and my boxer briefs. And there's no better way to eat a Valentine's dinner. And places frown on that when you go out, right? So cook the meal at home. You get a much better meal, and you can eat comfortable. Anyway, in my old age, that's what I prefer anyways. And if you're still with me, I didn't see you there earlier, slideshow. Oh. Gosh, this whiskey is so insanely good and extremely approachable at that proof, man. It's unbelievable. When I'm able to again, I'm going to order more products from these guys, because this whiskey was just crazy good. I probably would want to order, just their regular bourbon without flavors, but it was that time of year. I wanted to have this particular whiskey throughout the holidays, through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and it's just insane. Let me show you that bottle one last time here. These guys are doing just some great stuff. And again, those cherries, man, I'm going to show you this jar of cherries. This stuff is just, oh my gosh, good. Premium cocktail cherries. I swear to you, they are. If not better, they're at the very least just as good as those cherries that are going to cost you a lot more. The Luxardo and the Marashka are good. I'm not saying they ain't. I'm not saying they are not. Use some proper English time. I'm not saying they're not, but they are pricey, and these are every bit as good. Try to put a romantic setting behind me, you see, with the whiskey and the glass of champagne, right? Glass of whiskey for me, champagne for the wife. Share an embarrassing story with you. I don't think this happened exactly on Valentine's Day, but it was a moment that we were celebrating, and it would have been the first time I tried to get lucky, let's say. So I tried to romance her, fixed a nice dinner, then we were gonna have some champagne. Didn't realize she didn't like champagne at the time, but nevertheless, I was well, I guess I have always been a person of modest means, but I was young, and I was just starting a new job, so I didn't have a lot of money. But I bought the best bottle of champagne that I could afford. It was a lot more than I would typically spend, but it was it was an occasion. So we had a very nice dinner. I poured the champagne. Make the move to take her to the bedroom. I go to take my pants off, and my zipper got stuck. So I'm trying to get my pants off, and then she just starts laughing hysterically. Finally get my pants off, and I look over, and she's passed out. So that was the last time I tried to get her drunk and take advantage of her. So I knew that wasn't going to work. So I went through all this trouble and did not. It didn't pay off that night. Let's just say. We've been together 31 years now. Or actually, we've been married 31 years. Be 32 this year. We've been together 33, almost 34 actually. But so obviously I've had some action since then, but it didn't happen that particular evening. And I put a lot of work into it, man. I did. I planned a very specific meal, a very romantic meal. Anyways, I digress. Now, if I remembering correctly, the very first movie we saw for Valentine's Day was Last of the Mohicans. It was at a theater in town that no longer exists, the Tower Theater. It's funny, at the time I remember thinking it was a romantic movie, but then when we watched it since then, oh damn, that movie's rather dark. It's a rather dark story. I don't know what I was thinking. Because I tried to rent it again or watch it again for some romance. Oh gosh, everybody dies. This isn't good. I don't know what I liked about the movie the first time. I was catching more of the romance. Daniel Day-Lewis, Madeline Stowe. I was probably focusing more on Madeline Stowe, I guess. But well, the last time we watched it, oh no, I don't want to watch this movie ever again. It's dark. Everybody dies. It's horrible. Oh, but the two main characters, everybody else is horrible, whether you're, whichever side you're on. The colonists or the Native Americans, everybody's terrible in that movie except for these two people. Everybody's killing everybody. It's just not good. Anyway, it's done. I know it's based on the book. I get, but I get for whatever reason, the first time we watched it, the impression was much different than when I watched it again. Oh, damn, that is not a romantic movie. anyways, I digress. I had a lot of friends ask me if we had plans for Valentine's Day, and I kind of explained why it would be a tough day for us. I said, but if my wife and I have our perfect Valentine's Day, neither one of us will have to get out of our jammies all day long. If everything goes to plan, I won't have to put clothes on at all. Get up, take a shower, put some fresh jammies on. But no, it's so far so good. I mean, it's early. Something could always happen, but man, if all goes well. We talked about too, like I said, I thought about going to the store to get that one thing, but if I went to get that thing, I would have picked up a few other things. Not necessarily that we had to have, but it would have crossed my mind. Well, I could do this with this or that with that. But I thought, well, we're just going to stay home and I've got stuff to work with. We're just going to work with what we got, whatever that meal happens to be. Whether it's the crab, or I've also got halibut. But I really think we'll do the crab today. But we had some stuff to snack on for the Super Bowl, but we still had she bought a can of white queso that we didn't use. So I put some beans. We had some pinto beans, dry pinto beans. So I put them on to cook. So I'm going to make a fresh bean dip to go with the canned queso. So it'd be kind of a semi. So if we want something to snack on either before the dinner or later on in the evening, we've got that available. So like I said, we have stuff, but I would have found things I thought I needed if I would have went to the store. So maybe the wife helped me make the decision to just stay home and not spend the money because we got stuff here to use. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and I saw that queso. So let me go ahead and put some beans on so we can have some bean dip with the cheese dip. And I don't like canned beans. So yeah, and dried beans aren't hard to cook. I don't know why more people do that, but some people think it's a chore, but it's not. They taste so much better. Because the idea that beans are beans, no, they are not. Canned beans are horrible, and you can always taste the can. It doesn't take much to cook beans. I mean, in this case, because I have a bunch, um, I just cooked 1 cup. I didn't cook a whole pound, just cooked 1 cup, just enough to make that bean dip. We can eat it between today and tomorrow, and there'll be no waste because we are terrible at eating leftovers. So I've learned just to cook smaller, or I've tried to learn. I learned most of the time. But there are times, oh, that's cooked this much. And oh, crap, now I'm stuck with this much. Now we got to eat this again. Anyways, I'm going to try to finish this up so I can bring that other thing out here. Bear with me. I'll be right back. So, like I said earlier, I was going to drink the remainder neat, but there was more left than I thought. So, what I did is I took about 2 ounces and I chilled it. So, there's no other ingredient in here other than I added. So, it's the chilled whiskey, but I did put one of their Montgomery cherries. So, depending on your definition of a cocktail, it's a cocktail in its purest form, or it's just the whiskey straight up with a cherry drop in. Anyway, Slancha. Because I did want to drink some kind of chilled cold and see the difference. So here's what I will tell you. If you drink this whiskey neat, you are going to get flavors and aromas that are going to dissipate when you get this whiskey cold. But here's the however. Even though you might lose some fine nuances, you're going to pick up some things, or it's going to present itself differently. Let me say it that way. You get this cold, and all those sugars, all that sweetness will come to the surface. So you get almost like this fine-tuned brown sugar note with that, with that those Montgomery cherry notes, and again the vanilla and the spice that I mentioned from drinking it neat. So straight up would mean I've got the whiskey chilled and I poured it into a glass. But typically you don't add anything to it. So some purists might say I've turned it into a cocktail by adding a cherry. But I'm saying, but like I said, if it is a cocktail, it's a cocktail in its very purest form. Otherwise, it's just the whiskey chilled, and I dropped the cherry in. And again, the only reason I dropped the cherry in because it was the same brand, right? So Traverse City Cherry Whiskey with a Traverse City Cocktail Cherry. And I figured that'd be a fitting way to finish this whiskey up. So, will I have any side dishes with the crab, you might ask? Probably not. Sometimes I just put the crab on the plate. We add the butter. We got some good Irish butter in there, so that's all you need, baby. You want that good butter fat. And no, I will probably, I don't know if we'll have it all together or whatever. The truth is, I don't know, but I'll probably bake us a potato. I have a squash blend in the freezer we could add to it. It's really hard to tell. Kind of depends on our mood at the time, to be honest with you. But then it goes back to if I would have went to the store, I probably would have got the fixings to make a Caesar salad to go with it all, and a couple of that. Oh, then I was like, oh, but I could use this tomorrow, and if I bought this, I can make this. So instead, I said, okay, we're gonna not spend any money today if we can help it. And we got stuff here. I'm just going to work with what we got and get it out. So I've been trying to purge the freezer, get stuff out. We have a few setbacks from time to time, but we've been both trying to eat healthier. So I've been eating more fish and chicken. Now my wife's not really into beef anyway, so I've cut that back. But man, I need a steak every once in a while. I just do. Everyone's like, I know you. I'm going to give you a couple pieces, but I need some meat, man. She does prefer pork to beef, so but we would cut back on that as well, and I've been doing more chicken and fish. In particular, a lot of salmon and halibut mostly, or some cod. Yeah, salmon, halibut, cod, a little bit of pollock in there. But yeah, we're trying to keep it healthy, staying away from those garbage fishes like tilapia that aren't good for you at all. That doesn't do. I mean, the notion is good that you're trying to eat fish, but that fish is horrible. The fish that I'm using is all wild caught. So, anyways, I digress, man. Anyways, as you can see, this whiskey started to make me feel good. I do like it cold though. So the truth is, do I prefer it cold or neat? And the funny thing is, when I talk to younger drinkers that love bourbon or say they do, they will taste stuff neat, but they prefer it with that big ice cube in there. And I think it's the thing as you get older, right? Because when I was their age, I kind of did too. But the older I get, the more I do prefer the whiskey neat most of the time. I don't like to have whiskey with that big cube in it anymore. And even most 90% of the time, if I make an old fashioned at home, I serve it straight up in a coupe. I don't serve it with the ice. But I will tell you, when I was 35 to 40 ish. Yeah, I mean, I did prefer the ice cube, but now I don't anymore. So again, those folks are telling me, well, I do this. And I'm just thinking, okay, at some point you're going to mature and be just like me. But I don't say it out loud. Well, unless I'm on, I don't say it out loud to them. Because they're going to discount every time I try to offer advice to a millennial, they never take it. Never ever. And I know in a decade they're going to go, I wish I'd listened to that fat old man, but I was too stubborn because I'm a millennial and think I'm smarter than everybody else. Okay, in fairness to millennials, every generation is that way. Mine, the one before, we all think we're smart. I did not take advice from my older friends when I should have, which is why I'm in the shape I am in now. That's why my knees are shot, my back is bad, because I didn't listen to people I should have. So, as much as I like to make fun of millennials because they have no sense of humor whatsoever, it's really not all of them. Every generation has made those same mistakes. Millennials. I do poke fun at them a lot. It's a lot of generalizing, I know. But I mean, they're very sarcasm and irony challenged, right? When you say things that should be obvious, that it is, sarcasm or irony, or you're trying to poke fun here or there, make a joke. Unless you say it in a specific tone, they actually think you're serious. But see, that's what sarcasm is. Sarcasm is you say things that are absolutely ridiculous in a serious voice. And most generations get that. I think even Gen Z does, but for whatever reason, millennials, unless you say something in a very exaggerated tone, they think you're serious, no matter how ridiculous the statement is. But that's the point of good sarcasm, is you say it like you're dead serious. You got that deadpan serious. That's what makes good sarcasm. And I can't make millennials understand that. Mercy. That is good. So again, yes. Does it lose something when I chill this? Yes, it does. You're going to lose a lot of the aromatics. You're going to lose a lot of those nuanced flavors. But what you're going to gain, I guess, or what you're going to perceive differently, let me say it that way, is again, those sugars are going to come right to the surface. It's going to present itself completely different, whereas you may lose some things, but it's still going to be enjoyable, but in a much different way. So there you go. So let me finish this up and say, because I ran this much longer than initially intended, but I saved a little bit neat because I wanted to have a little bit of this whiskey neat after that chill, just to kind of compare again. Oh man, stuff is so good. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and enjoy your Valentine's Day the way you would like to. Forget what everybody tells you you need to do. Forget what the media says. Forget what your so-called well-meaning friends say. You and your partner do it the way you need to. I'm going to go through the whole spiel again. I'm the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor with a man. All around good guys, Slancha. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it.